Hey doing everyone, welcome back. Well, I don't know if you've seen, I haven't been actually on Twitter in a while. Actually, since I got this new phone a while back, I haven't even downloaded the app, so I don't care, right? Because I'm not going to, I still have an account on there somewhere, but I am not going to support the Nazi, right? That billionaire South African Nazi. Not going to support him. Well, on that platform, I don't know if you've seen this, but Gavin Newsom, governor of California, man, he has been all over that platform. Donald Trump is not on that platform. He's on his own, spoof social or whatever he calls it, right? Yeah, I know it's called Truth Social, but there's no truth on it, so whatever. Um, and you know what he does. It's basically just a dime store Twitter where, he just says a bunch of random stuff, all caps, just like he did when he was on Twitter before he got banned. But Gavin Newsom, all caps, saying things just in the most ridiculous way, clearly trolling Trump. It is hilarious. If you haven't seen it, look, I'm not going to advise you to go on to that particular site, but if you Google it, you can find other sources where you can find these tweets. It is hilarious. If you're already on there, all right, go look it up. But I'm not going to encourage you to actually get on there, right? Do your thing, whatever you want to do. But I wouldn't recommend going on there. Anyway, this one, and he's got a few doozies out there. Donald is finished. Again, all caps. He is no longer hot. First the hands, so tiny. And now me, Gavin C. Newsom, have taken away his step. Many are saying he can't even do the big stairs on Air Force One anymore. Uses the little baby stairs now. Sad. Tomorrow he's got his meeting with Putin in Russia. Nobody cares. All the television cameras are on me, America's favorite governor. Even low ratings Laura Ingraham edits the tapes. Can't stop talking about my beautiful maps. You're welcome for Liberation Day, America. Donnie J missed the deadline. Whoops, now I run the show. Thank you for your attention to this matter. And then he's been signing it with GCN, his initials. Because, Trump has to sign his tweets with DJT. And what's funny is somebody in the media called him out on this. Well, you're obviously trolling the president. And it's like, yeah, I am. Somebody has to. Somebody's got to call him out. He's got one here. If you remember back, probably 2-3 months ago, might have even been longer than that, there was a fake Time magazine cover that showed Trump with a crown on his head, it wasn't like a photo, it was like a drawing or a painting or whatever of Trump with a crown on his head. It said, "Long live the king." Well, Gavin Newsom put one out there with his face on it, wearing the crown, "Long live the king." Basically, he just replaced the head on that photo. And then what he says in all caps, "A successful Liberation Day. Thank you." This is good stuff. He's really he's really taking it to him. Normally I would not like these tactics, but it gets normalized for Trump. Trump does it, nobody cares, because that's just Trump being Trump. Of course, Newsom, a serious person, decides that he's going to do it. Well, that's below the dignity of your office. Is it though? Well, that's disrespectful. Is it? Is it really? I mean, if it's disrespectful to the president, what was Trump doing in the 4 years that he was not president? If that wasn't disrespectful. Here's another one that I'm going to read a few of these here. Donald Taco Trump, as many call him, missed the deadline. California will now draw new, more beautiful maps. They will be historic, as they will end the Trump presidency. Dems take back the House. Big press conference this week with powerful Dems and Gavin Newsom, your favorite governor. That will be devastating for MAGA. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Yeah, he's trolling hard. He's trolling hard, and quite frankly, I'm here for it. Donald Trump, the lowest polling president in recent history. This is your second to last warning. The next one is the last one. Stand down, or California will counterstrike, legally, to destroy your illegal crooked maps in red states. Press conference coming, hosted by America's favorite governor, Gavin Newsom. Final warning next. You won't like it. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Yeah, that's good stuff. That's good stuff, you know. But you know, why is there a double standard though? I mean, that they let Trump be Trump, but they won't let anybody. You know, the current Secretary of State, right? Back in the 2016 campaign, Marco Rubio, he was running for president as a Republican against Donald Trump. And, you know, Trump started all his name calling, you know, Lil Marco, you know, and he goes on, yeah, he's got nasty names for everybody. And Trump is very sensitive about his hands. Apparently he's got tiny hands, right? I don't know. But yeah, he's very sensitive about his hands. And Lil Marco made a crack at one of his rallies. You know, he's got the tiniest hands I've ever seen. And you know what they say about guys with little hands? Now, obviously, you know what the implication is there. But he finished it up. You can't trust him. Right? He didn't technically go there. Now, Rubio got eviscerated for that. Right? Trump got a pass. You know, double standards. Donald Trump can do whatever the hell he wants. And nobody else can do anything about it, right? Well, maybe not so much. Maybe not so much. You know, because blue state governors are firing back. Right? Now, in a more low-key way, Kathy Hochul from New York is also kind of, I don't know exactly what she's doing, but she's kind of rumbled a little bit about things that she can do in her state. You know, it sounds like there will be an initiative put to California voters about redrawing the maps. And who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? Quite frankly, I hope they do it. I hope they do it. Because redrawing districts, I mean, why is it being done in the middle of a decade? You know, people like to say, well, you know, California can't change their maps. Okay, but Texas is doing it. Yeah, well, Texas is allowed to do it. Wait, Texas is allowed to do it. So why is California not? So, No, 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 no. See, if you have to gerrymander, you don't have... Let me clarify what I'm saying here, right? Because the Republicans are gerrymandering to begin with, right? And I'm not saying Democrats don't gerrymander. You can look at a few examples. I mean, Illinois is the biggest one that comes to mind. I mean, there is a district that comes from like central Illinois, wraps around, comes up to the Mississippi River, and it grabs Moline, Rock Island, you know, the Illinois side of the Quad Cities, and then it wraps up and it grabs Rockford. That's kind of a crazy district. You know, I mean, there are some districts in some states where the gerrymandering is so bad, literally, I can be right here, right? And you can be just across the room from me, and you're in a different district. You know, I mean, like a highway can be divided, you know, and that could be the district, right? Or the highway could actually be part of the district. You know, this side of the highway is one district, this side of the highway is another district. The highway itself is part of another district. Yeah, there are states that do things like that. And, you know, it needs to be brought to an end. It really does. But, you know, if one state is going to do it very specifically before an upcoming midterm election in the middle of a decade in order to help out the president who is in power, if they're going to do it for that reason, and they are eliminating 5 seats that are currently held by Democrats, then I have no problem with blue states retaliating, right? It would be ideal if both sides would say, hey, you know what? We're not going to do this. You know? But when one side unilaterally disarms, it's not good for the other side. Not good for the other side. So, if California wants to redraw their maps in response to Texas redrawing theirs, all right, fine, do your thing. Now, if you want to say, well, 2 wrongs don't make it right, you know what? Normally I would agree with that too. But, again, the one guy doing all the wrong is never called out for it. Only the people who stand up to him or use his tactics against him get called out for it. But he doesn't get called out for it. Double standard much? I'll see you next time.